Hi, everyone, and welcome to Mellow Movie Reviews, where we mellowly review. Ugh, damn. That sucked. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mellow Movie Reviews, where we mellowly review movies. My name is Bri.
And my name is Catie.
That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Cool. What up, Catie?
Not much. What's up with you?
I'm doing okay. I've been watching. Okay, girl.
What have we been watching, Bri?
Okay, I have not finished it yet,
Okay.
but I will finish it before the weekends.
We've been watching Outer Banks. We watch for the plot.
The funny thing about this show is like I feel like I would have been obsessed with this show in high school.
Oh my god, if this came out while we were in high school, we would have definitely tried to be Pogues.
The show just made me smile in a way that it was just so simple and kind of dumb that I loved it.
It's simple and it's kind of dumb, but I feel like it's a little more elevated than your average teen nonsense joke. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of nonsense, but it's not like Riverdale. You know, Riverdale's unwatchable. This is good American fun.
I like it. I'm gonna finish it.
What episode are you on?
I am in the middle of episode 4.
Oh, damn. Okay, you have so much yet to come.
Yeah, I'm excited for the twists and turns.
Oh my god, I wish I was you and I could be seeing this for the first time again. I've never said that about a thing before, by the way.
Wow, I'm excited. I started watching Waco, which was really intense.
Ooh, I watched that as well. It's first of all, Tim Riggins as the guy.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor, that guy. I don't know what his real name is. It's Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah, he's really good. It's very intense right now. I started watching episode 3 last night, but cut it off because it was a lot. But I will continue watching that show. I think it's well done. So,
it's a really solid TV show, and I feel like I don't know. I've been watching documentaries about Waco since I've watched that, and I feel like all the documentaries are really, really like aggressive and like aggro about the situation. And I feel like this is like, I don't know, it's a dramatization, but I felt like it was much more like heartfelt. But again, that comes from a drama, so I don't know what I'm actually saying, I guess.
Yeah, I usually don't watch these kinds of shows. I'm into cults. I think.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think that's very interesting.
Have you watched Mindhunter?
No, I have not.
You might be into that if you like cults.
Okay. Hi, my name is Bri.
My name is Catie.
And this week we watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This film came out in 2016 and was directed by David Yates. It stars Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander, Catherine Waterston as Tina Goldstein, Dan Fogler as Jacob Kowalski, Alison Sudol as Queenie Goldstein, and Ezra Miller as Credence Barebone. Yeah, so this was a Harry Potter spinoff? Yes?
Yeah, I guess we have an extended Harry Potter universe now.
So this is
called like the Wizarding World, I think.
Yeah, it's called the Wizarding World.
We're just gonna name it after a theme park then. Cool.
That's kind of annoying.
It's, you know what? They really want that money.
I know, and it's so... Anyway, Catie, what did you think of this film?
So I, on purpose, had not seen this film before, because we grew up with the Harry Potter movies. I still love them so much, and the books are amazing, but I didn't want to see it and then have it be shit. So like Lord of the Rings, I love that trilogy, and then I saw The Hobbit and it was okay, and then I saw the second in the Hobbit trilogy and it was trash, and it just ruined it. I didn't want to ruin Harry Potter. But Fantastic Beasts was so good. I actually loved it. I thought it was like a really good example of what a spin-off of one of those major films should be. I didn't feel like it was just an endless string of callbacks to the Harry Potter world beforehand. And I like that it took place before the events and like far enough ahead that they're like not even connected. I really enjoyed the movie. I have a lot of things to say about it.
That's cool.
How about you? Do you like this movie?
I liked it way better the second time. I think watching it the first time in theaters, it was like kind of a huge event for me because it was like a new part of the Harry Potter chapter, even though it didn't have to do directly with Potter. It was something similar. And I was a bit disappointed. So I saw this movie in 2016. So like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I don't know. But
Okay.
watching it at my house, me with like my Gatorade and just chilling, it just made me, and I was like in a comfortable position. I don't know. I liked it a lot more and I was more emotional. And I cried actually at the end.
I didn't cry, but I was very close.
Because there are some really magical
I thought the end of that movie, like we can get into this further when we get there, but I thought the end of that movie was one of the stronger points of the movie.
yes, I agree, but it's not my favorite. I think that the best thing that has happened to this franchise is Jacob Kowalski. I think his character is so clever, and it's just great that there is a Muggle character who he kind of reminded me of if what we would be like if we met a wizard on the street for the first time. Yeah, he's really really amazing and just seems so personable and lovable, and I just wanted to watch him on screen all day. And it made me think about how cool it would be if like Harry Potter had a Muggle friend who knew about the wizarding world. like
Mm.
like Seamus Finnegan must have friends who might know he's a wizard. You know what I mean?
I feel
I
like Seamus Finnegan goes home and just completely ignores the rule about doing magic outside of school.
I feel like he does, but then Dean comes to visit and then he doesn't do it anymore.
Seamus's mom calls Dean's mom and is like, "Can your son come stay the summer?"
Yes. See, this is what I love about Harry Potter. Seamus and Dean are two minor characters. We're making a fan fiction about them.
Not a completely unbased fan fiction, I feel like. I will say that I liked Jacob's character better in the first movie than the second one. I liked him. He was a cute character in this.
What did you think about Eddie Redmayne's character?
I loved it. He reminds me so much of our high school math teacher. Like, this is how I imagine him as a wizard in the world, except instead of traveling to, like, search for wild animals, he's, like, traveling to teach the world math.
I mean, I love that Newt is a Hufflepuff.
Yes!
Amazing. I kind of saw myself in him a little bit with how much he loved animals. And there was a scene, it was towards the end, where they take his case away and he was like, please don't hurt them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was like, please don't hurt them, they're innocent. And that like kind of struck a chord. I was a little unsure about his character in the beginning, but once him and Jacob's relationship started forming, I really loved seeing him pop on screen. And I guess in the beginning, he was just the shy guy, you know?
I agree. I think he was a little flat at the beginning, but just like, I love how, like, we know what a Gryffindor is, we know what a Slytherin is, and we know basically what a Ravenclaw is. But I feel like everyone shits on Hufflepuff all the time because they're like, oh, they're like the just everyone house. And like, I feel like this one, they did a really good job of like using Newt to show those values that get you into Hufflepuff, where he like constantly tries to solve the situation with words instead of violence, and he like puts others before himself and stuff like that, and he's a hard worker, and I just love him so much. He's so cute.
Yeah, he's adorable and awkward. He was so awkward.
Yeah.
Speaking again about Hufflepuffs, you know, when he is saying like, people must really like you, Jacob. Like, that was so sweet of him to say. You know, and he was just like, he really liked Jacob as a person and just wanted to get to know him and take him along to this journey. And I thought it was so cute when he ushered him in the suitcase, like, nonchalantly.
I like how when they meet in the bank for the first time and he's got the thing in his pocket, it's not immediately like, hey, we have to try to get him to forget this. He's like, oh yeah, look, it's a dragon, or whatever he had.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think of Tina?
I didn't really enjoy her character until about halfway through the movie. And even then, I just feel like she's a bit flat for me. But I also have only seen the movie once, and I feel like if I watched it again, I could change that opinion. I don't know.
I think for me, I agree with you, Catie. I thought she was flat. But one scene I really did like was at the end when Newt and Tina say goodbye to one another. I thought that was cute chemistry. And like her shyness and his shyness kind of played off each other well in that moment. But that was like kind of the only moment where I was rooting for them to be a couple.
I 100% agree with you. And like Queenie too, I thought she was adorable in the first movie and like super cute. I really liked her. I feel like they could have done more with her character in the first movie as far as her like psychic shit. I don't know. I feel like Queenie was just there to be like a pleasant character.
I liked her a lot. I thought it was cool that she was she could read like minds in the room.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen that before in Harry Potter, even though I feel like we have, but we haven't.
Yeah.
So how did you think Ezra Miller was as Credence?
He was a creepy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I will have nightmares, especially about the way he, like, just carries himself so hunched over. Like, I feel like, really, really commits to a role and just goes for it.
Yeah, he was so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job. He was acting his ass off. He's amazing. Also, his jawline was like...
It was just with that, like, gross haircut. He just looked like Tweedledee and Tweedledum were part of the Peaky Blinders cast. Like, it just was such an uncomfortable look.
He looked like he was an Obscurus.
Yes, accurate.
If an Obscurus was a form, it would be Ezra Miller. So, like, I think the casting, like, everyone did a good job. We have reservations about Tina's character, but overall, it's like a strong cast. I think that the story for me is it's a little weird, I think.
I have problems with the plot in both of the movies, so go for it.
So, like, first I want to mention, you know, this is a brand new Harry Potter movie spinoff. I read somewhere or something, like, what most intrigued you when you were reading Harry Potter? Like, after J.K. Rowling finished her 7th book, what story were you eager to know about?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, I feel like I wanted to know about the Marauders. Like, I wanted to know about Harry's parents.
Yes. I wanted to know about his kids.
Oh, you got cursed child.
Yeah, unfortunately. But a lot of people are saying the story that they wanted to hear the most was the Marauders. And we got this instead, which is fine. But isn't that like a weird choice if you think about it? Like, don't you think more people would be into the Marauders than Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
100% yes. But I feel like if they're going to do Marauders, if they're smart about it, they're not going to do it as like a one-off. They're going to try to make a series about it. But they need a lot of source material for that because there's not a book written about them. There's just like some stuff we know.
Yeah, so that is another point. Like, is this the subject matter that like I most wanted to know about?
I do remember thinking when they announced that this was going to be the next one, being like, that's kind of a weird choice because the book is just about the creatures, I think. I've never read it.
Yeah, the book is just about the creatures. It's not really a story. And
Yeah.
to go off like the story element, all the Harry Potter movies are based on the book, so you have so much source material. J.K. Rowling, she wrote this script. So, and this whole idea came from her mind. So I feel like if this was written down, it would be better than it was on the screen for both movies. What was
I didn't know that she wrote the script, but that makes sense because I feel like these movies had the flavor of Harry Potter without just being another Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, for sure. Little Harry Potter spice. Also, I was a little confused. Like, what demographic do you think this movie was for?
I think it was for like a couple groups of people. I think it was for fucking kids who they just assume that people are going to take their kids to see Harry Potter movies. And then I think it was for people our age and like a little bit older who grew up with Harry Potter so they can like keep cashing in on us. Other than that, I genuinely don't know who this would be targeted at. Because it was like not quite a kids movie, but it was also not quite not a kids movie.
So like I felt like this was for like adults. And one scene in particular that was like, okay, this is a little too intense for kids is the electric chair scene.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, this is for adults.
Yeah, I thought that was a little too intense, a little too, I don't know. It didn't really fit in the film. That whole part just did not really make any sense, really.
I disagree.
Okay.
I feel like that is exactly how America would handle that kind of situation. Like, I feel like they did a really decent job of having the American Ministry of Magic sort of reflect American government, not in like a Trump kind of way, because they're not there yet, but just in a like, we immediately send people to jail.
Okay.
Like, that kind of feels like how we treat the criminal justice system in this country.
Okay, I can see that, but I just didn't think it was a little too intense for me. So I was a little confused about like the demographic kind of after that moment, like who is the audience for this film? Me being selfish, I do wish this took place at a school and was about kids.
Let me see American Wizard School. I don't remember what it's called, but I think it was something stupid.
Yes! Why didn't we see that? That would have been a great movie.
Word. Hogwarts is in the second one. Why can't Ilvermorny? Why can't they go there? Why can't they go to the American one in Salem?
I don't know. I don't get it. So I also felt like this didn't look that magical.
Oh, I disagree again.
I just think like the setting was just not like when you're at Hogwarts, everything is kind of like a magical. Even when you go to Hogsmeade, even when you go to the Forbidden Forest, like everything is magical. But like,
well, like they weren't in the wizarding world; they were in the Muggle world.
Yeah, but I felt like I wanted more magic, and I felt like the scene where they go into the trunk was cool, but then it just got a little too overwhelming, and I'm like, I kind of wish that the Fantastic Beasts were sprinkled more thoroughly throughout the film.
Oh, I 100% agree. There should have been more animals.
And I also thought the CGI for the animals wasn't that spectacular either.
It was middling. I think especially for a Harry Potter movie, it could have been better.
I mean, I was thinking about like the creatures from the previous, like the other Harry Potter movies and how like realistic they looked, and I felt like Fox the Phoenix looked very, I feel like it was a puppet, right? Do you think?
I would buy that at least parts of it were a practical effect. I don't think 100% it was a practical effect, but I would buy that some parts of it were.
Yeah, I feel like
I think that Aragog was a practical effect.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's like kind of what I think they should have done for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but I think to make it that more magnificent, they use CGI, but I do wish they used practical effects.
The animals from the earlier movies look much more realistic, and that's sad because they came out several years ago.
And that kind of made me sad that the CGI from the animals wasn't popping. Because if they were popping, this movie would have been better. But yeah, I wish there were more animals involved. It was more of like a scavenger hunt, and the main kind of focus was the Credence plotline, which I liked. Did you like that?
No, I agree. I like that plotline, but I agree with you that I feel like they should have made a decision if they were going to make this a movie about the Harry Potter universe that included Newt Scamander and magical animals, or if they were going to make this a movie about Newt Scamander and magical animals, because I feel like they tried to do both and it didn't work.
Yeah, I feel like there were two good stories going on.
I felt like that for most, like I felt for the first movie, that's what frustrated me the most, is that because they were trying to do two storylines at once, they weren't doing as good a job of like establishing what you need to establish in the first movie of a series as they could have done.
Very true. I think they try to do too much, but I do think that like I liked Credence's story a lot. Did you think that he was the Obscurus the whole time?
I thought it was the little girl right up until like I think a scene or two before they revealed that it was him. I can't remember what they said, but they said something and I was like, fuck, it's him.
I think they hit it pretty well.
I agree. I, not to brag, am usually pretty good at figuring out like the twist of something, but they had me on it.
I think it was smart of the filmmakers to establish that Credence wanted to be a wizard, you know? And that's why he was helping out Colin Farrell. That's like a good motivation for what he was doing. And it was cool that it was actually him in the end. So I thought that was great.
And it was such a good red herring, too, because they kept talking about how the kid couldn't be older than 11. So, like, in my mind, I had immediately already eliminated all of the adults in the film.
Yeah. I think that Colin Farrell's character should have caught on that Credence was the Obscurus a bit faster. It was really awkward. He was like, I don't need you. And then he was like, I need you. And I was like, yeah, duh. Like,
I didn't really. Colin Farrell's character was so stupid.
Colin Farrell was good at acting like a mean Johnny Depp. The thing is, like, I don't care about Grindelwald.
Oh, I got plenty to say about him, but I'm saving it.
Yeah, I don't care about what he's doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is I feel like they jumped into this movie without establishing how fucking shitty a person Grindelwald is. Because I feel like watching these two movies together, I felt no fear between the first movie learning who he was and then that whole thing that happened in the second movie. I'm not afraid of him. Like Voldemort, a good villain. He genuinely, like, there are stakes. He could hurt you. He could kill Harry. But I feel like Grindelwald is just kind of like, oh, he's a mean guy and maybe racist.
Well, it was weird that the beginning, do you remember the beginning of this film? It just showed like tabloids about Grindelwald.
No, and that's what I'm saying. They should have spent this first movie establishing that. Like, they could have done a similar plot, but, like, had Grindelwald involved so it wasn't just talking about him like a third-party character and then having him show up at the end.
Yeah, because, they didn't mention him at all, really.
But he's, like, supposedly the big bad guy over this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. His character is dumb. I think it's a pointless character.
I agree. Can we talk about the best part of this movie?
What is the best part of this movie?
Jacob Kowalski.
I find him very endearing, but honestly, I don't like love. Like, I get why people love his character so much, but I'm just kind of like lukewarm about him.
I like that he was like struggling and then used his creativity to make a career for himself. I like that he got the bakery at the end, but I love that he remembered the creatures.
Yeah.
I think that was the most magical part of the movie. And I literally, at that moment, I started crying because that's like the magical creativity that Harry Potter made me feel. And in that single moment, I felt it again.
And that was like a good, like, hey, maybe he didn't forget all of it. And maybe we can, like set up for the next movie so that they can bring him back as a character so we can remember stuff. They set that up well.
I loved Jacob's ending. The ending of the film itself is a little bit confusing. So at the end of this film, Newt gives one of his creatures a blue vial of something, and then the creature goes up in the air, and then it starts raining, and then everyone keeps forgetting. Like, everyone starts forgetting. But it's not only, like, the rainwater, it's also, like, the water that you drink and, like, the water that you shower with. I was a little confused. I wish that was more clear.
I don't know. I think that was kind of a moment where you were, like, having to suspend your disbelief. Because, I mean, it was like a giant firebird.
What did you think about the score?
Oh my god, I love a Harry Potter score. I really, really thought the music in this movie was really strong. And I liked that it included themes from Harry Potter, but that it didn't make those themes the main themes. Like, it came up with its own themes as well. Like, there was definitely, like, they do the, like, do that's, like, in all the Harry Potter movies, but, like, they also had, like, their own, I don't know. I really love the music in both of the movies, honestly.
I think that I loved the score. I thought it was fantastic. I love the theme. I was a little bothered by hearing do because it was at like random moments that didn't have anything to do with like actual Harry Potter. Like,
I mean, I agree. I guess I feel like that is in some sense like a theme specifically meant for the Harry Potter movies, but I just feel like it was at certain points like a nice nod.
Yeah, for sure. I just remember it playing at times where I didn't think it would need necessary. Like, okay, you know what a good time for them to play the theme would have been?
What?
When they were talking about like Hogwarts.
Yes,
and
because it's the Hogwarts theme.
Yes, but they didn't. But they didn't play it when they were talking about Hogwarts. So it's like they would have been more powerful if they did that. But yeah, overall, do you have anything else you want to say about this movie?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it way better the second time. I'll watch it again. I cried.
I rented it, but I'm gonna go back and buy it. I'd watch that again.
Yeah. And also, I feel like we're a little biased because we love Harry Potter.
Also, we're both Hufflepuffs and thirsty for that Hufflepuff recognition.
Yes, we're thirsty for Hufflepuff recognition, and we love Harry Potter.
Okay, let's do it. Crimes of Grindelwald. Okay.
So the next film we watched was the sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. We watched Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. This film was directed by David Yates. It came out in 2018. It stars Eddie Redmayne as Newt, Catherine Waterston as Tina. We have Don Fogler as Jacob, Alison Sudol as Queenie, Ezra Miller as Credence, Zoe Kravitz as Lita Lestrange, Callum Turner as Theseus Scamander.
I can't.
And then we have Johnny Depp as Gellert Grindelwald. And then Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore. All right, Katie, what did you think after you saw this movie the first time?
So again, hadn't seen this movie before. High hopes, because Fantastic Beasts was a good time, but also a lot of people told me this movie sucked. But I went in with an open mind. Immediately after I finished watching it, I had like major things I was like annoyed by, but I was like, it wasn't like bad. But now, like a day later, I'm actually so mad at so many things.
Yeah, it's a horrible movie.
0 out of 10. Wouldn't recommend.
Please don't see this movie.
It's
a mess. Yeah, so again, I saw this film in the theaters with my two friends who are Harry Potter fans, and we kind of made it a night, and it was just kind of disappointing to like go into a packed theater pay $8 for popcorn, Uber there, you know, I don't know, just like making it a fun night, and then like sitting through this movie, like knowing how much I love Harry Potter and how this film just wasn't it, just broke my heart, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this was written by J.K. Rowling again. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin.
I have a question. Do you think that every second movie in a franchise is doomed to be shitty?
No.
Okay. I think it's true for most.
Yes, but I didn't think it was going to be this shitty. Damn.
No, I mean, this is like an exemplary example, but I just feel like that's such a common thing. Or like, it's not like, it's just not as strong as the one that came before. Because like the second film, you're trying to find your footing and you're trying to create that magic from film number one, but most people miss the mark, I feel like.
Here are some examples of some movie sequels that were better than the first.
Okay.
I would say Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And then, damn, I had another one in mind. Oh, Spider-Man 2. The Sam Raimi ones.
I literally, the only memories I have about those movies are when we saw them in theater and those guys behind us were just like fucking hilarious commentary the entire time. And then that one scene from Spider-Man 3. I know the one.
But yeah, this sequel sucked.
It did. Let's just start with the title of this movie because it's so fucking long.
I think they might have changed it.
They didn't.
Oh shit.
I googled
what is it then?
It's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh.
First of all, this movie is called The Crimes of Grindelwald, and Grindelwald appears in probably 15 minutes of this entire movie.
Where are his crimes?
Yeah, exactly. He can't commit crimes if he's not there to do them.
Yeah, it's awful because he's hardly in the movie, and also there are hardly any really fantastic beasts in this movie, so this title makes no sense.
Also, half the Fantastic Beasts are just Fantastic Beasts from the last movie. Like, they used that tree thing to pick the lock. They used the Niffler thing to get that blood pact necklace, because yes, that exists.
The character of Grindelwald was so odd, because the first scene, he throws his pet out the fucking window. What the fuck?
Also, of those 15 minutes he's in the movie, he's speaking for maybe 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like half the time his character's in the movie, it's just so he can sit there menacingly in the corner and then say, like, 1 or 2 one-liners about how, like, we need to get rid of muggles.
Yeah, he wasn't very prominent. Oh, and can we talk about his, like, skull vape fortune teller thing?
Oh my God.
What's that?
He just, like, fully vaped out the future and just projected World War II onto the smoke.
That sentence is wild, dude.
That I can't believe that just
sentence
happened.
Was wild. You know, I thought I'd seen it all, but a vape truth telling, and he did it twice. I was like, they're bringing back the vape in the final scene. That was just dumb to me, because you guys are wizards. Like, why are you vaping?
Also, they've definitely showed us, like, numerous ways to get people to see something going on in someone's head. So many people also have just been able to say, like, hey, I've had a vision. I feel like in the wizarding world, it's, like, okay and reasonable for you to be like, hey, so I had a vision. Because that's a thing. Yeah. It exists.
I don't know. It was just a little too convenient. Everything was just, like, handed to everyone in this movie.
There were no stakes in this movie at all.
Also, all the new characters did not care for them at all. There is one character, Kama, who is literally useless. Remember, he was like, hi, my dad, and I had an unbreakable vow as well, and I have to kill...
Oh...
Yeah, like, that plot line didn't need to be in it. Zoe Kravitz's character was cool, but...
I really wanted to like her, but again, she was so flat that it was literally impossible.
I don't think she's a flat actress at all.
No, Zoe Kravitz is a fantastic actress. Like, she was doing the best with what she had.
And then like Newt's brother, that whole I was like, what? Who cares? He looked like Percy Weasley.
I feel like that whole plot line with like Zoe Kravitz's character existing and Newt's brother, and then like that like love triangle thing, none of that had to exist. Like, why did they have to create all this drama in Newt's relationship with Tina? What, like, why? They barely even had a relationship. They just were like, hey.
Yeah, that
was
like
it.
stupid plot line that there was a misquote in the paper. Like, that's a story beat, really?
Also, let's talk about some of these characters that we remember from the first movie that appear in this one, and about how Queenie's character got completely destroyed in this movie.
She essentially takes Jacob to Europe under the influence. Really inappropriate, not the best message. That whole thing in the rain was so weird.
Also, like, let's recall which super villain in the Harry Potter universe was born of a child of a relationship
Voldemort.
from a love potion.
It rubbed me the wrong way. I thought that was really weird.
It felt very out of character for her. Like, I feel like it would have been in character of her to do something like that was on a similar level of fuck up, but like I feel like they really pressed on her mind control with this. Like, one of the things he brought up in the argument is that she was reading his mind when she wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know, she was so likable in the first movie and she's not likable here, and then
she's so annoying in this movie. I like really disliked her in this movie.
So like Jacob finds out that she put an enchantment on him, and then she runs out into the rain and she's mad at him but he still loves her, but he's like, we have to be safe. You know, I don't know. It was just a weird... The thing is about Harry Potter, we didn't get introduced to like love plots until the 6th book, really.
Well, because it's a kids' book series.
Like, I don't watch Harry Potter I don't want to watch the Wizarding World for the romance. I don't want to see that. I want to see a good story.
No.
And like the fact that this romance thing, also Newt had that weird romance with his assistant.
I think she was just hitting on him, which honestly I felt like super weird about that.
It was so out of place. There was so much of this movie that had to do with like romance and stuff, and it just felt forced, and it just didn't make sense. And where was Grindelwald?
Also, like, even in Harry Potter, when they had those like romantic-y relationship things happen, it made sense because they were 16. But with this, they're like adults. Like, I feel like it's not necessary. Like, yes, adults fall in love. We are old. We are still dating. And, you know, hopefully one day. It just is so unnecessary, especially for a movie that already has so many plot lines. Yeah, it would have been better if
like Newt and Tina were just friends at the end.
Yeah, because sometimes, here's a fun thing, women don't need a romantic plot line.
So there's a lot of new characters. How do you feel about Nagini?
Super weird. I don't know, like, is that lore from the books? Like, is Nagini actually, I forget what it's called, but one of those things?
I think she got it from, like, other lore from some... Do you want to look it up?
I guess my thoughts on that are twofold. Like, I didn't fully understand the rules of her transformation, and, like, I know eventually she would get stuck, but I don't understand how, like, at the moment she's willing to like transform back and forth between a snake. Like, I feel like they should have explained those rules a lot more clearly.
I'm like really sad that Nagini is a woman who is enslaved to Voldemort now.
Well, there's my second part of this, is that I feel like that is very in character for Voldemort to like take someone who is literally trapped in an animal's body and like enslave them, basically.
I thought it was kind of like I don't like it that much. Like, that was such a huge fandom thing, and I felt like J.K. Rowling really ramped it up. Like, Nagini's going to be a huge part, and then she only said, like, one thing in this movie. I actually enjoyed Jude Law as Dumbledore.
Oh, I did as well. I thought it was good casting.
Dumbledore being so flighty, like, Jude Law did such a good job with that.
I thought it was a good portrayal of what he would have been like
for sure,
as a young man.
And handsome. Ooh.
Do we want to talk about the queer baiting in this movie? according to J.K. Rowling, who wrote this script, so I'm assuming this is the direction she wanted to go. She's just not doing it. Like, Dumbledore's gay, and, like, he's in love with Grindelwald, and they definitely hinted at there being more than friendship, but it was never explicitly said, even though she's definitely said that outside of the thing. And I'm like, if you're gonna go and make a character gay, you can't just do it in a tweet. You actually have to do it.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating. I really wanted them to just, like, straight out be like, yep, we're in love, or like, nope, just friends, instead of just being super ambiguous about it. And, like, I know if people have complained about this, they're definitely going to be like, oh, well, we wanted you to be able to insert your own story and, like, see whatever you wanted to see. Yeah. Bullshit.
Just J.K. Rowling right now is dealing with a weird, like, here are some facts that I'm going to say in tweets that are canon, but I'm too afraid to put them in my work. Yeah.
She's a coward.
Her actions recently have been one of the first cases where I have had to separate the art from the artist big time.
And it's so sad too, because it's just, like, such a thing that's so positive from my childhood, and, like, growing up and then realizing that someone who I really looked up to was kind of a not amazing person.
You mentioned this earlier, but, like, the lion CGI.
Okay, I liked the seahorse, sea dragon thing that he had in his laboratory apartment
had Harry
situation.
Potter and the Goblet of Fire vibes.
It did. For sure. I actually, when he first went down there, first of all, would have been a great time for them to call back to that movie by having him use the bubble mouth charm. Yeah. I also genuinely thought those little mermaid people from that movie were what was going to be down there. But yeah, that was, I really enjoyed that. And I thought the CGI for that, especially with the water, because it, like, rose up the levels as the thing was swimming, was fine. I thought it was, you know, pretty good. And that cat. I hated the character design of that animal, first of all. I really did. I really wish they would have just got, like, they kept saying it was, like, from China. I really wish they would have just gotten someone from East Asia to come design an East Asian animal. It looked like someone who's only familiar with, like, English dragons tried to create a phoenix Asian dragon, Asian lion kind of situation. It just looked so bad. So bad. And then they added, like, a betta fish tail on the end.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like,
it was very, it looked like a cheap design. This movie came out in 2018 also.
Also, it's from fucking Harry Potter. They've got money. They can do this.
I love that.
There's no reason a movie that came out 10 years earlier than this should have better CGI.
You're right. Can we talk about how much exposition there was in this film and how, like...
It's because they didn't do it in the first movie. Your first movie is your exposition movie.
There were a lot of scenes with exposition. It just got overwhelming. The first time I saw this movie, I was legitimately confused, and I was not surprised when you texted me you had to look up the Wikipedia summary, because this film just had so much information in it.
I, like, literally didn't catch on that they thought that Credence was Letta's brother until, like, literally when they revealed it on the family tree.
It's really confusing.
There are too many plot lines going on in this movie, and they are all given, like, such extreme detail. Like, pick two to focus on, and then just do little ones. Like, I don't need so many fucking details about Jacob and Queenie's marriage. That's not an important plot line.
It was just too much detail. No character development whatsoever. It was just all exposition. And
oh no, there was character development, but it was not positive. It was the other direction. They ruined characters during this movie.
What they did to Jacob was really annoying and unforgivable.
They fucking Ron Weasley'd him is what they did. Is they just took a character that had great potential and was very well written, and they just turned him into the comic relief. Yeah.
The worst exposition part for me is when there were two flashbacks at the end of the movie. Yep. That was when I was like, there are two stories being told right now. There is one really weird, another plot point, which I was like, this is kind of messed up. There is a guy who likes a woman, so then he puts the Imperious curse on her and makes her his wife and has a baby with her and stuff. That's rape.
Yep.
Again, like, who is this movie for? Adults or children?
Yep.
In between, I don't know. I'm not afraid to say that. I just think that was a really poor choice. I was very, very shocked by that plot point in the movie. Besides that, the 2 exposition flashback scenes, it's one after the other. There's too much information. I had to write it down, and because I was taking notes, I was able to follow along the plot easier, and I had a better time watching this film than when I first watched it. But yeah, there is so much exposition. And when they go back to Hogwarts, why do the Hogwarts robes look modern?
I don't want to talk about the fucking Hogwarts robes. The costuming choices for the flashbacks were disgusting.
It looked like Hogwarts robes from Party City.
First of all, it would have been the late 1800s, early 1900s. There's no way they're letting girls run around with their ankles showing. First of all.
Harry and Ron and Hermione's cloaks look like way worse than what they had on.
And I feel like they really did a disservice to McGonagall's costuming. Like, what a fun opportunity to take to, like, show what she would have looked like as a young woman, and they literally barely showed her on camera.
And she wasn't even alive.
Yep.
That is another annoying ass thing that happened. Yeah, both the flashbacks, weird. How did you feel about the Nicholas Flamel cameo?
I didn't understand it, to be honest.
Like, why he was there. So I didn't get it either because I had to rewind. But when Kama was in, like, the sewer with all of them, like, something got into his eye. So they went to Nicholas Flamel to get an antidote to get the thing out of his eye. So that's why they were there.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him a little bit. I thought he was a little quirky, kind of like, I'm like, yeah, Dumbledore would be friends with him.
I really liked that interaction. I want to say it was with Jacob, where he kept shaking his hand, and, like, you could tell he was shaking it too hard and, like, hear the little bones cracking, and it was that was like a fun. That was a humor that they took. It was a good moment.
Yeah, that
for
was a good joke.
It was a good
joke.
Like
that part. Oh, one moment I did like in the flashback when Newt's biggest fear, his Bogart, was working at a desk.
Oh, you know what I actually loved? I did love that flashback scene. I adored the, like, image of that floating clock for Lita's, and then the reveal of that being Credence's baby blanket as the ship sank that was the only thing in the movie that I liked, was that reveal. Imagery,
but I'm, like, really annoying. Like, how could she see that if she wasn't submerged underwater?
Also, how come the class went all dark just for hers?
I don't know.
Like, I knew it was gonna be drowning, but I just didn't understand how the cloth fit into it. Yeah, I feel like in this movie there were quite a few, like, striking images. Like, again, the family tree I really liked, where it, like, literally actually grew out of the box, and it was like a miniature of what they have at Grindelwald Place, or Grimwald Place. But again, didn't make up for literally all of the other ridiculous nonsense that happened in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And then Queenie turns to the dark side.
Was weird. It was just a weird turn. We saw the beginning, but we didn't see the middle. Did they put a spell on her? Like,
yeah, it just says that Grindelwald allows her to leave while manipulating her into joining him using her desire to marry Jacob. I just felt like that entire thing, her even considering working with him, is so out of character for her. And, like, I get that she's mad that she can't marry Jacob because he's a muggle. I refuse to use the word nomad. And, like, I get that, but I feel like she would not go from, like, hey, I can't get married to the guy I love, to be like, well, I'm gonna make sure no one can get married.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, like, really weird and wonky, and the story was not cohesive enough. And I think this would have worked way better as a book than a film.
I feel like they also tried to make her character look so stupid in this too, because I feel like part of the belief in the fact that she would do this is that she's like dumb enough to get manipulated by him. And I don't like that implication for her character.
You're right. They did ruin her. Oh, I thought the like end of the movie was fine with all the magic, and it reminded me of like Harry Potter. Actually, the Zoe Kravitz sacrifice was whatever, but then there's like a huge dragon thing, and then they all stick their wands in the ground. I thought that was a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that Credence is Dumbledore's brother. It literally makes no sense. Like, it's not even integrated in the plot well enough. This was just like a hodgepodge of weird random scenes. Also, didn't you think the editing was weird too?
There were several editing errors in this movie. I absolutely saw a boom mic in like God. 2 shots.
Yeah. It was not edited well. There's a scene, okay, remember when Newt and Tina go into like the records library or something, and then there's that old lady, and then right before they enter the library, she looks straight into the camera? That was so weird.
I also thought those cats from that old lady had, it looked like actual gameplay footage from a video game.
It's Harry Potter. It's a fantasy movie. Like, you spend that money on the CGI. You, like, do it up.
Here's the thing. You're going to make a shit ton of money on this movie, regardless of whether or not it's good. It's a Harry Potter movie. You can spend the money to get good also, CGI.
When Grindelwald was calling his followers, he calls them by, like, black scarves in the air. Like, what was that? Like, at least Voldemort had a cool freaking snake thing. Like, what? Black scarves?
I think they just wanted a cool visual, which it was, but also
it's like, okay, everyone's gonna know. They're like, it's Grindelwald's sign. It's like, okay, he could be a little bit more subtle. Little bit more subtle. Yeah, there are gonna be 3 more of these.
3 more? How did they get 5 movies?
Hopefully, for the 3rd movie, they listen to this podcast and will tweak some of our complaints. Maybe make Jacob the star.
Yeah. Make Tina more interesting. She's got potential. I like forgot that she was in the movie a couple times in the second movie.
Also, I don't know. There are just like way too many characters that I just did not care about. Who do you like think was the protagonist?
There wasn't one.
Yeah.
Which was another one of the problems. Because they had at least 2 different storylines with at least 2 different
And I feel like Newt wasn't even part of the story that much.
He didn't need to be in this one. This entire thing could have happened without him.
I'm pretty sure there are 3 more coming out. I'm guessing the last movie will be Voldemort. I'm not Voldemort, Grindelwald and the Dumbledore duel, and we all know who will win, so it's not that exciting. All right.
They're fine.
Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you're staying safe, everyone, and staying home, and
Bye.